all doing well, and I'm so glad you're here today, and I hope that you are as excited as I am, because today is our final What I Am Reading In video of 2023, and we're about to talk about what I'm reading in December. However, as I've done the past few years, I'm also going to include the end of the year book tag. So this video might go a little longer than what you're used to for these. So grab yourself a drink. I've got a cup of tea. Have a little snack. That cup has a little lid and I've put a few snacks on it. So a couple cookies and a little piece of peppermint bark and chocolate with mint in it, so that we can talk books. So let's first do the end of the year book tag. And if you're unfamiliar with the end of the year book tag, what it is a series of 6 questions about my reading for the year. So I will answer those questions, and we will use the answers to some of those questions to determine what I'm reading in December. So let's get started. First question: are there any books you need to finish before the end of the year? And the answer to this question is yes. So in October, as part of the spooky season, I started reading a book of short stories. And my intention was to read 1 story a day. It's got 14 stories in it, so I would be done in 14 days. But my reading got so involved in October that I did not continue with the short stories. So I just didn't want to rush through the short stories to get to my other stories. And so before the end of the year, I need to finish Everything's Eventual, 14 Dark Tales by Stephen King. It's really good so far, and I got to page 211 for the title story, and that story is actually related to the Gunslinger series. And so I'm currently reading that series, and I didn't want to rush through those stories and miss things, so I will be finishing Everything's Eventual before the end of the year. Do you have an autumnal book to transition into the end of the year? So I like mysteries a lot, and lately my autumnal reads have been mysteries leaning toward dark academia. This year I read a few, but one that I just finished was actually quite good, and partway through I wasn't sure if I was going to like it, but I ended up really liking it. And it is A Study in Drowning by Reid. If you like dark academia that is a bit mystery but has fantasy elements, relies on folk tales, and has some paranormal elements, I definitely suggest that you read A Study in Drowning. Is there a new release that you are still waiting for? So all of the 2023 new releases that I was hoping to read, I have already gotten. So there are no more new releases that are coming out that I'm waiting for. What are the books you want to read before the end of the year? And as in the past, this 4th question, I'm going to hold till the end of the other 2 questions. So we'll do question 5, we'll do question 6, then we'll come back to question 4. Is there a book that could shock you and become your favorite book of 2023? So the way that I read, at least the way I'm reading this year, every book I read, I want to be that favorite book that shocks me, and I'm like, oh man, this book was so good, and it's my new favorite. So anything I'm going to read could become a favorite. Have you already started making reading plans for 2024? Yes, in 2 ways. First, there is a new release coming out in January that I'm so excited for. I can't wait for it to come out. And I will be reading it right after it comes out. The book is The Atlas Complex by Olivie. I have read the other 2 books in the Atlas series, and so I will be reading that in January. Also, I buddy read with one other person, and we have a list of books that we'll be reading. So the next book on it, I'm sure will get done this year, but the next several books after that will be part of my reading for 2024. Now, back to the question I skipped, question number 4. What books do you want to read before the end of the year? And as you can imagine, that that's going to influence what I'm reading in December is. So let's get started. So Natasha Preston writes, they're actually kind of thrillers, so thriller mysteries. And we just got one in recently, so The Haunting by Natasha Preston will be my first book for December. Also, I have read Belladonna. As you know, I did a video on it. The second book in that series, Foxglove, has come out recently. What I didn't know at the time that I bought it was that there will be a third book in the series, so Wisteria will be coming out in August of 2024. But Foxglove is on my reading list for December, and you've got to see this book because it's so amazing. So there's the front cover, which is beautiful in itself. But if you take the paper off, that is the front, that is the back, and the end pages are beautiful also. I'll show you the back one as well, because it's just so amazing. So I love beautiful books. They're like little pieces of art to me, and so this book I will enjoy in many ways as I'm reading it. So Foxglove will be my second book for December. 2 months of the year I participate in a readathon, and those are April and August. And the creator of the readathon does a mini readathon in December. So it starts on a Saturday, goes through that whole week, and goes through the following Sunday. So 9 days of reading, and one of the prompts for that this year is to read the last book that you put on your TBR or your to be read list. And that for me is Deadly Education by Naomi Novik, and it's a series. So I will be reading A Deadly Education, The Last Graduate, and The Golden Enclaves, all by Naomi Novik, all part of the Schoolmance series. So these will be my third video for December. Also, I like to read something wintry every December, just to get in the mood for the winter season. We've already had some snow out there, so that's exciting, at least for me. And so this year I found a middle reader book, and it's stories from around the world, folk stories from around the world. The title is Winter Tales. So Winter Tales, folk stories from around the world. That will be my fourth read of December. Also, as part of my readathon, I've been reading a book every month for that, and I have to read this month a book with fire in the title. So I'm either going to read Little Fires Everywhere or Trial by Fire. I haven't really narrowed that down yet. We'll get that figured out. I won't do a video on that one, but I will let you know what I decided to read and how I liked it. Shortbread cookies I just really love. And these little star ones are the perfect size because then I can have a few of them and they just make me happy. So there we are. That is everything I will be reading for the videos for December of 2023. I hope that you will join me when we talk about the books, and remember, the first one will be The Haunting by Natasha Preston. I know that it might be a little odd to start off December with a thriller, but I always kind of like to read a thriller in December too. And a few years ago, I read Five Total Strangers, and that was really good. Natasha Preston's books remind me of Natalie D. Richards' books, and so it should be a really good read. So I'll be back very soon with that video. I hope that you will join me then, and I hope that you have an amazing December reading month as well. Thank you so much for being here with me today, and I will see you again very soon.